Let's break it down. Weather can seem mysterious, but understanding La Niña is a great way to start making sense of the world's climate patterns. So, what exactly is La Niña? And why does it matter to you, me, and everyone else on the planet? La Niña is a giant weather pattern that starts in the Pacific Ocean, the cooler, crankier sibling of El Niño. While El Niño gets a lot of attention for its dramatic effects, La Niña is just as important, and sometimes even more powerful in shaping global weather. Normally, strong winds called trade winds push warm surface water westward toward Asia. But during La Niña, these winds don't just keep blowing, they actually get even stronger. This extra push pulls even more warm water away from the Americas, especially from the coasts of North and South America, and allows cooler, deeper water to well up to the surface. This process creates a huge patch of colder than average water stretching thousands of miles along the equator in the Pacific. It's like the ocean is putting on a chilly blue blanket, and that blanket has big consequences for the weather above it. Why does it matter? That cool water doesn't just sit there, it changes the air above it, cooling it down and shifting the patterns of clouds and storms. This, in turn, messes with the jet stream, the high-altitude river of air that acts like a steering wheel for weather systems all over the world. When the jet stream is nudged off its usual path, the effects ripple out across continents. When the jet stream shifts, it changes who gets rain, snow, or dry spells, a domino effect that can reach your backyard. Some regions might get drenched with heavy rain and flooding, while others could face long dry spells or even drought. In some places, La Niña winters are colder and snowier than usual, while in others they're warmer and drier. It all depends on where you live. La Niña is a natural climate cycle, not caused by us, and it happens every few years. Scientists have been tracking these cycles for decades using satellites, ocean buoys, and weather stations to monitor changes in the Pacific and predict what might happen next. The name La Niña means the little girl in Spanish, chosen to contrast with El Niño, the little boy. These names might sound playful, but the impacts are anything but. They can affect everything from farming and fishing to energy use and disaster planning. Both La Niña and El Niño are part of a larger climate system called the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO for short. ENSO is like a giant switch that flips every few years, changing the odds for different types of weather around the globe. These patterns are especially influential during winter, when they can determine whether a region gets buried in snow, soaked with rain, or left high and dry. When scientists say La Niña is back, it's a heads up for everyone. By looking at past La Niña winters, meteorologists can make educated guesses about what's coming. Whether it's a higher risk of hurricanes in the Atlantic, more wildfires in Australia, or a colder, snowier winter in parts of North America. It's a powerful tool for everyone. From city planners deciding how to prepare for storms, to farmers planting their crops, to families getting ready for winter weather. Understanding La Niña helps us all get ready for what's ahead. And that's the scoop. So, why is this winter's La Niña forecast making headlines? We're coming off a wild El Niño, and now the climate is swinging to the other extreme. Think of it like a pendulum. This could be a triple dip La Niña, 3 winters in a row, which recently led to major droughts in the West. That's a big deal for water managers, farmers, and anyone in drought or flood-prone areas. This year's La Niña is expected to be moderate to strong, which means classic patterns, colder and stormier in the north, warmer and drier in the south, are more likely to lock in. It affects everything from heating bills to holiday travel. For millions, this forecast is the first clue about what to expect. It helps us plan, prepare, and avoid surprises. That's why we're watching it so closely. Predicting La Niña isn't guesswork, it's science and technology in action. Scientists use a network of buoys in the Pacific to measure water temperatures in real time. Satellites scan the ocean from space, tracking sea surface heights and temperatures. When satellites spot lower sea levels in the eastern Pacific, it's a clear sign La Niña is underway. All this data goes into supercomputers that simulate how the ocean and atmosphere interact. These models project how La Niña will evolve. Will it strengthen, weaken, or linger? Finally, expert forecasters at NOAA's Climate Prediction Center analyze the data and models to issue official forecasts. They update us monthly, giving probabilities and seasonal outlooks. It's a blend of cutting-edge tech and human expertise. That's how we get our best glimpse of the winter ahead. So, what does La Niña mean for your region? The answer depends on where you call home, because La Niña's influence stretches across the entire country, shaping winter in dramatically different ways from coast to coast. It all comes down to the jet stream, a powerful river of air high above us that acts like a weather superhighway, steering storms and temperature changes across North America. In a typical La Niña winter, the jet stream dips southward over the central U.S., then swings sharply north, effectively splitting the country in two. This shift is what sets the stage for the contrasting weather patterns we see. The north, think the Pacific Northwest, Northern Plains and Great Lakes, gets hit with colder, wetter weather. Expect more frequent storms, heavier snowfall, and a higher chance of blizzards. For these regions, winter can feel longer and more intense. Skiers and winter sports enthusiasts celebrate the fresh powder, but for commuters and homeowners, it means more shoveling, icy roads, and higher heating bills. Snow days become more common, and daily routines can be disrupted. Meanwhile, the South, including California, the Southwest, Texas, and the Southeast, experiences warmer, drier weather. Skies are often clear, and temperatures are milder than usual, making for pleasant days outdoors. But this pleasant weather comes at a cost. For drought-prone states, the lack of rain can worsen already dry conditions, increasing the risk of wildfires and putting stress on water supplies. Florida and the Gulf Coast enjoy milder winters with fewer cold snaps, but the real concern is the persistent dryness, which can impact agriculture and local ecosystems. The Ohio and Tennessee valleys find themselves caught in the middle, experiencing a mix of weather, sometimes cold and snowy, other times milder and rainy. The swings can be unpredictable, making it hard to know what to expect from week to week. It's truly a tale of two winters, all thanks to the powerful influence of La Niña, which shapes the season in ways both dramatic and subtle. Where you live makes all the difference. So whether you're bundling up or breaking out the sunglasses, La Niña ensures winter is never the same everywhere. La Niña's impacts aren't just statistics or distant headlines, they're real, personal, and often felt right at your doorstep. When La Niña takes hold, it can change the rhythm of daily life in ways both big and small, affecting families, communities, and entire regions. Planning holiday travel? Be prepared for more than just the usual crowds. Northern airports like Chicago, Minneapolis, and Seattle often see a spike in delays and cancellations as snow and ice storms become more frequent and intense. Travelers may find themselves stranded, waiting for flights that never take off, or scrambling to rebook as winter weather disrupts schedules. On the roads, La Niña can turn a routine drive into a real challenge. Major interstates become slick and hazardous, with visibility dropping and accidents on the rise. It's crucial to plan ahead, check the forecast, and allow extra time for travel. Sometimes, staying home is the safest choice. Meanwhile, in the South, the story is different but just as serious. Dry winters threaten crops and strain water supplies, leaving farmers worried about their harvests. This can lead to higher food prices and less variety at your local market, as agriculture struggles to adapt to the changing climate. In California, the snowpack in the mountains acts as a natural reservoir. When La Niña brings less snow, there's less water flowing downstream in spring and summer. This shortage affects not just farms but also cities and towns that rely on this water for drinking, bathing, and industry. The ripple effects show up at the grocery store. You might notice empty shelves, higher prices, or a limited selection of fresh produce. La Niña's reach extends all the way from the field to your family's dinner table, but it's not all bad news. Ski resorts in the north often see a boost, with fresh snow drawing crowds of winter sports enthusiasts. At the same time, colder temperatures mean higher demand for heating, leading to increased energy bills and putting extra pressure on the energy sector to keep homes warm. More frequent storms mean road crews are out in force, working long hours to keep streets clear and safe. Utility workers face tough conditions as they repair downed power lines, and families may experience power outages that disrupt daily routines and add to winter's challenges. In the South, the risk of wildfires rises as dry conditions persist. Firefighters stay on high alert, and communities must take extra precautions to prevent and respond to blazes that can threaten homes and lives. La Niña even shapes the school calendar, with snow days and closures more common in some areas. Hardware stores adjust their inventory, stocking up on snow shovels, salt, and other winter essentials to meet the changing needs of their customers. Its reach is long and often surprising, touching everything from your morning commute to the food you eat and the way you spend your weekends. La Niña isn't just about weather patterns, it's about how we live, adapt, and respond to the world around us every single day. To predict this winter, we look to the past. The recent triple-dip La Niña brought record drought to the west and flooding to the Pacific Northwest. This year's La Niña could be even stronger, which means more pronounced, less variable patterns. In the past, strong La Niñas have brought epic blizzards, like the 2011 Snowmageddon in Chicago, and fueled severe spring tornado seasons. But no two La Niñas are identical. Other climate factors can throw curveballs. Think of them as siblings, similar, but each with a unique personality. Past events are our best guide, but surprises are always possible. This winter's forecast builds on recent lessons, but nature always has the final say. Stay alert for the unexpected. History helps, but it's not the whole story. This winter's forecast has a few twists. La Niña developed unusually fast after the last El Niño, which could mean a more abrupt, intense jet stream shift. Some models suggest the coldest air may focus over the upper Midwest and plains, leaving the Northeast in a battleground for messy winter storms. There's also a warm blob in the North Pacific, which could amplify drought in California but boost snow in the interior West. The big question: will spring bring a severe tornado season, like in 2011, or something milder? Early signs point to an active severe weather season in the Deep South and Tornado Alley. Forecasters are watching closely. Stay tuned for updates as the season unfolds. Knowledge is power. Preparation is key. In the north, winterize your home seal drafts, add insulation, and check your furnace. Prep your car with good tires, a strong battery, and a winter emergency kit. In the south, focus on water conservation and fire safety. Fix leaks, follow restrictions, and clear dry brush. Have an evacuation plan for wildfires. Everyone should build an emergency kit. 3 days of food and water, flashlights, a radio, and medications. Power outages can happen anywhere, so be ready. Take these steps now for peace of mind all winter. A little preparation goes a long way. Stay safe, stay ready. Forecasts change, stay informed. The National Weather Service at weather.gov gives you local forecasts, watches, and warnings. For the big picture, check the Climate Prediction Center's site for official La Niña updates and seasonal outlooks. Your local news meteorologists translate these forecasts for your neighborhood. And of course, tune in to the Today Show for national updates all winter. Make sure your phone's emergency alerts are on, and download a reliable weather app. Multiple ways to get warnings are best. Stay informed, stay safe, and we'll get through this winter together. That's the latest for now.